Welcome back. Today's lesson is a lesson we have had in the past. It's the story of Daniel and the lion's den. Since we've been talking about doubting, trust, and faith, this is a good lesson to tie everything together for us. Now, remember these three guys? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Remember, they were the guys that were in the fiery furnace but didn't get hurt? Well, they were friends with Daniel. So the four of them came to a town named Babylon. Each king that came and went really liked these men because, if you remember from the other story, they were honest and hard workers. They were always given the most important jobs, which made the other workers of the king jealous. The king's name was Darius, and he really liked Daniel. He knew he was a hard worker, so he decided to put Daniel in charge of the whole country. Whoa, what a job that was! In charge of the whole country? I guess you can imagine how the other workers felt about this. How were they jealous? They were big time jealous. They tried to find something that would get Daniel in trouble. They wanted him fired. But because Daniel obeyed God, they couldn't find anything he was doing that was wrong. Well, they kept trying to figure out how to get rid of Daniel when they decided to go to King Darius and say, "Oh, great king, you are so wonderful that no one should pray to anyone but you." Well, the king loved that idea. The men continued on with saying, "All of your workers have agreed this should be done, and that anyone that prays to any other god should be thrown into the lion's den." You see, the workers lied and said everyone who worked for the king agreed to this. But of course, they never talked to Daniel because they knew he wouldn't agree. The king didn't know this, so he made the law and it couldn't be changed. When Daniel heard about the new law, well, he did what he always did. He went home from work to a room upstairs, opened the windows that looked out over the city, and prayed to God. The men went as a group to Daniel's house and found him praying, asking for God's help. They ran really fast, straight to where do you think? Yep, the king, and told him that Daniel was ignoring his command, that they had seen him praying 3 different times. This made the king very sad. He really liked Daniel and didn't want him to die. He tried everything he knew to change the law to stop Daniel from being thrown into the lion's den. But the men reminded him he had made it a law and Daniel would have to be punished. So at the end of the day, the king gave the order to bring Daniel to him. King Darius said, "I hope your God, who you serve and pray, will rescue you." The king ordered Daniel to be thrown into the lion's den. A large, heavy stone was rolled in front of the lion's den, and the king went back to his palace with tears in his eyes. That night, the king couldn't eat or sleep. He was so worried about Daniel. As soon as the sun was up the next day, the king ran to the lion's den. As he got closer, he shouted, "Daniel, has your God, who you serve and pray to, rescued you from the lions?" Silence. Then all of a sudden, Daniel said, "O king, live forever. My God sent an angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, because I have done nothing wrong." The king jumped for joy. Daniel was not only alive, he was unharmed, not even a scratch, all because he trusted God. The king then realized those men were jealous, and they had tricked him into punishing Daniel. So in turn, he punished them. After that, the king made a new law, and he said, "Daniel's God is great, and I order that everyone in my kingdom must respect the Lord God who rescued Daniel from the hungry lions." So when we think about this lesson, we see Daniel had faith in God's protection. He never doubted God would keep him safe. He put his trust in God. By doing this, he was protected. We too should remember to never doubt God, to have faith He is with us always, and always trust in His love for us. Pretty cool lesson, right? Today's craft is pretty cool too. You guys should have already received it in the mail. So I've done mine so you can see what it looks like. So punch all the little things out, your lions, Daniel, the little bones, and then you can glue them, or they stick to the back. Now, this is the part I like. Oop, turn around, Daniel. You can take this and you can raise Daniel up, or you can drop him into the lion's den. So I think it's pretty cool. You see the lions and you see all the bones laying in the den. So I like this lesson because, you know, you can raise him up and drop him back down. You know, I just like that. So it's an easy craft, and like I said, you should have gotten it. There's also a puzzle page. Mr. Scott will put this up on the website. It's very easy. You're looking for the word pray, like a lot, 54 times. Hope you can find them all, because it just says P-R-A-Y, pray, 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 pray. And the bulletins will be online as well. As always, wear your mask, wash your hands, keep them away from your face, and say your prayers. Peace be with you. I'll see you next week.